Okay, so today I'm going to be answering 4 or 5 questions that people have written into me on Instagram that I have asked for, and so I'm just going to read them out and answer them to the best of my ability. What is the hardest challenge that I had to face? I would say, honestly, just growing up. I mean, if I'm being completely honest, growing up has to be one of my hardest challenges. But let me explain. Growing up, my birth mother gave me and my 6 brothers up. Okay, I only know 3 of my brothers now. There's 3 more out there. I have no clue what their names are, how old they are, where they live, anything like that. But growing up, I have lived with my aunt and my uncle, as some of you may know. But I always thought that my dad was out there somewhere. But when I was about 6, 7, I honestly can't remember my exact age of how old I was, but I was told that my dad passed away the day that I was born. And before my birth mother went into labor, she got a phone call stating that he was gone. Now, growing up without him has probably been my biggest challenge, for the fact that I don't really know if he was a good man. I know nothing about him. I know his name was Francisco, but that was about it. I some people are, it bothers me because some people are like, well, I don't like my dad, or I don't like my mom, or whatever. Just be thankful that you're growing up. Like, if you are, be thankful that you're growing up with your biological parents, and that you get to see them and hug them and call them if you're, if you need someone to talk to, or, run into their room in the middle of the night if you had a nightmare. I don't. Now, I live with my aunt and my uncle. My aunt is my mom. I don't like calling her my aunt, but biologically she's my aunt. But she's raised me ever since I was little. But yeah, that's the only thing that I could think of as of a hardest challenge that I've had to face. I've always been a strong person, mentally-ish. I try to stay strong for other people, but like most people, you're tough in person, but then behind closed doors, you're not as tough. You're not as strong. You're not as happy. And I've always tried to stay mentally strong for other people. But sometimes it's okay to let loose. Sometimes it's okay to cry and to go about things in a different way. But if anything, just find somebody that is there for you. Find somebody that will help you, that loves you, that cares for you. Because believe me, there's somebody out there that does. You just gotta give it time. You gotta look. You gotta be patient. But everybody goes through stuff. Everybody has their own challenges. But the hardest challenge of me so far was growing up without my dad. And I hope one day to either see him or learn about him or something, so I'm not always just like wondering who he was, how he was, everything like that. Everybody wants to know if there's somebody missing in their life, they want to know why. And that's the person that is missing in my life. And that's the person that I want to know why. Or I want to know what happened. And if he does got a family, if I have little brothers or little sisters or like a stepmom. I honestly don't know how any of that works. But, yeah. So, my hardest one was growing up without my dad, I have to say. Okay, so this one is if I could travel to one place right now, where would it be and why? Now, I didn't understand this question. Well, I understand it, but I don't know how this question's supposed to be answered because there's a couple ways to answer it. I could say, but does it mean time travel or like just a place in general? Like if I was able to get up and go, where would I go? So I'm going to answer both. So, time travel, which I believe one day will be possible. Don't know about you, but I do. Anyways, so if I was able to time travel to one place and go there to experience things or just to see what future me is like or whatever, I would probably go about maybe 10 years from now. So I'm 16, so when I'm 26, just to see where I'm at, just to see if of the decisions that I want to make here in about a year or two, or a year and a half, excuse me, I want to see if those are the right decisions. Because at this point, this is also goes into the story. If you want me to say it, if you want me to tell you this story, like, comment, and let me know. But, okay, but I'm gonna be 18 in about a year and a half. And, I want to move out. But what I want to know is if that choice was a good choice. So I want to know if that, in the future, if it benefited me in some way. And I don't know. I would go 10 years in the future. See what it's like. See what I'm doing. See if I like that, what I'm doing. And if I do, then continue what I'm doing now. If I don't, then try to figure out something to where I can change it. Now for actual in time travel, I don't know. I would want to go somewhere where there's not a lot of people, but I would want to go with the person that I'm dating now. So it's like everybody has their own little look of like, oh, well, it's just me and this person, and me and this person are gonna leave and not come back. But the thing is I want to go somewhere where I make the rules, or wherever I'm living with like wherever I'm living, I'm going to be able to make my own rules. I'm going to be able to say this is right, this is wrong, which really I'm not that type of person to be like right or wrong to some people and how they see things. But if I was to be able to go to one spot, I would go to a spot or a place that doesn't have a lot of people, and it would be my house and then acres upon acres of land and then somebody else's house. So I'd still want to be around people, just not as cramped as it is now, and how you have house, and then you got a front yard, backyard, don't have a side yard, none of that. Some houses you do, but you have to be quote unquote rich, whatever, to buy those. But yeah, just go to somewhere where there's not a lot of people and take the love of my life with me and just leave, because that's what I want to do. It's when I'm 18, I want to leave. I want to explore. I want to go out and figure out what I want and what I'm going to do in life. I don't want to be stuck in one spot. I want to be constantly moving around, constantly finding new things, finding new adventures, exploring new things, probably documenting it. Like, I want to see, like, honestly, in the future, I want to see if my YouTube takes off, because at the moment, I have doubts about it a little bit, but I'm trying to keep my hopes up, because this is at the moment, this is the only place that I can go and I can express everything without anybody cutting me off and without anybody trying to change what I'm going to say. And then you're going to listen to it, and then you could have feedback. And then you could explain how you feel, whatever, because I'm open to people's opinions. I really am. But, yeah. So, if I could just go somewhere like that and probably just see if my YouTube takes off, go from there. Now, for this one was kind of interesting, because I don't really have much to say about this incident, but this question is, what is the weirdest thing that has happened to me during quarantine? Now, there's two things I gotta say. The first thing is, when quarantine started, I thought, just like probably everybody else, that it was only gonna last for maybe at the most a couple months. That's what I thought. Thought starting my sophomore year was gonna be at school with my friends, with teachers, in person, instead of this online, technical, tiring situation. But it's not. So I could say that's one, I wouldn't say weird, but something that I didn't like. But the weirdest thing that has happened to me so far, I would have to say finding out who my true friends are. Finding out who actually cares. Now, my friend group was huge, okay? So I thought. A lot of friends tend to say, friends, air quotes, friends, tend to say, oh, I care for you, I'll be there for you, I love you, or, you know, they say they'll check up on you. I've had the same 5 people, maybe 6 people, talk to me through the whole quarantine, through this whole situation. In the beginning, it was to check up on me, see how I'm doing. And now it's friendly conversations, joking around, having a good time, stuff like that over the phone. But I found out that my friend group went from 30 to 40 people to like 5 or 6. Like, people will lie straight to your face and say that they care, But then the second that something happens, they won't text you. They won't be like, oh, how are you doing? Are you okay? Do you have COVID? Anybody in your family has COVID? Are what's going on? Nobody does that. No, not a lot of people do that. Your friends, if you have these people that have not texted you once, not like one time since quarantine has started and since we've been out of school and all this stuff has happened, they have not texted you one time and you still believe that they're your friend, I'm going to tell you one thing right now. You are mistaken, because they are not. They don't care. They can care less. You are probably the last thing that's on their mind. And I'm sorry to say that, but it's probably true. 9 times out of 10. But, just saying. It's weird because I found out who my real friends are and who my fake friends are. And I didn't want to, but I did. So.